What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. In today's episode, we're going to be covering health and traveling. So we're going to be covering everything from surviving jet lag to flu season, how to combat that this season, as well as changing time zones and also the different climates in different areas. So if this is something that you want to learn a little bit more about, just keep on watching. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the weather. Everybody right now, especially like this late September, pretty much has different weather. I want to say Philly and Seattle kind of on one accord, somewhere in like the 60s, but then you come to Georgia and we're still in the 80s. I know like Texas and Florida, even California, they're still going to be a little bit warmer, but then if you go a little bit further up north, you're talking about chillier climate, some of them reflecting a true fall, some of them almost like pretty much in the winter already. So you want to make sure that you're checking the weather for where your destination will be and make sure that you pack accordingly. One of the things that I want to show you guys, because I know packing like coats and stuff like that, especially with it getting colder, does get a little bit tricky, especially when you're on a limited amount of space. So I have these airtight bags. These are roll-in packs from TJ Maxx. I paid $5.99 for them, but basically you put your stuff in here, you roll the air out, seal it tight, and then it gives you like 80% more space than what you would have had just packing it regularly. So if you need some more space, these are a great item to invest in. So that is making sure that you pack for the weather. You don't want to show up somewhere and it was 80 degrees where you were, and then you go there and it's 20 degrees and you have a short sleeve tank top or something like that. Doesn't make for a great experience and you could get sick. The next thing I want to talk about is making sure that you eat healthy. And the reason why is because certain foods will fuel your body a certain way, whereas other foods will actually tire you out faster, give you what I call itis. So if you take, for example, my Philly ice cream tour that I posted not too long ago, eating ice cream all day long plus pizza, by the time I got home, I zapped out like that. And the reason why is because I was eating foods that weren't beneficial to my body. They weren't giving me any kind of energy. I mean, they were tasty, of course, don't get me wrong, but this was not gonna fuel my body to move around the way that I was. And if you're in a situation where you're not doing, you know, adventure trips, or you're not there for a specific event, it's just a relaxation thing and you want to eat what you want to eat, that's fine. Then just eat healthy, light or whatever, and good foods before you travel and also right before you leave, so that way you can kind of have that energy back in your body and it won't be too hard moving through all these airports or, you know, driving on the roads, different things like that. Make sure you pack, if you are on the road, healthier snacks, because I promise you, if you stop at a fast food joint and you go ham on a huge burger, you will be ready to nod off at the wheel, and that just does not make for a good road trip. It will actually make it longer than what it has to be and a little bit more draining. So eat healthy, guys, while you're traveling, at least. Okay? Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is planes and airports. So obviously you guys know these are the two things that have a lot of traffic going in and out, in and out. And I mean, people are coming from all over. They have all types of different things. You never know who's like sick with the flu, who has just a cold, who has a fever, who has food poison, who has this, who has that. So you want to make sure that you're okay. So I would recommend making sure you are up on your vitamin intake. Make sure that you're drinking a lot of water while you're on the plane. By the way, this is going to help you with jet lag. They said that because it's like a drier climate in planes, when it goes up in the air, you want to make sure you stay hydrated and avoid things like caffeine and alcohol, which would dehydrate you even more. So that doesn't help at all. Make sure that you guys are drinking water at least when you take off and a good hour or so before you land. If you're on a super long flight and you're like, girl, you think I'm not gonna have a glass of wine? Okay, I get it. Okay, have your glass of wine and just make sure that you drink water at least an hour or two before you land. Also, you want to make sure that you're using hand sanitizer. So I know they come by with all these delicious snacks and goodies and meals and this and that, and if you're on the window seat or if you're in the middle or whatever, you're probably like, oh, it's too much of a hassle to be getting up and washing my hands. At least, I mean, I have these something, hand sanitizer, you know what I mean, with you. Keep this stuff with you. Hand sanitize, hand sanitize, hand sanitize, hand sanitize your hands, okay? And then when you get your snacks and stuff, hand sanitize at least, unless you can get up and wash your hands. I get it if you're pushed all the way over there by the window and you don't want to just climb over 2 and 3 people or whatever, it's a little much. I get it. Okay, at least hand sanitize. And that's because you've been touching everything in the airport, everything in the plane, probably bumping up against certain bags, stuff like that. It's just a lot of germs, and you never know which germ is gonna take you down. So make sure you have clean hands before you put anything in your mouth, okay? Okay. The other thing that I want to tell you guys is to also up yourself on like airborne and stuff, like vitamin C if you can. I talked about vitamins, but specifically vitamin C and anything that's going to support your immune system. Yes, and also with changing time zones. Let's talk about that for a second. Changing time zones can be a little bit tricky because, say for instance, like in Atlanta, it's like 4 o'clock p.m. In Tokyo, it might be 5 o'clock a.m. of some sort. Or you might go over to Portugal and they're 5 or 6 hours ahead. So depending on where the time zone is kind of how you want to base your sleeping if you can. So if it's daytime over there, you need to be up, even if it's nighttime where you are. If it's, you know, the opposite there, then you just want to make sure you adjust accordingly. If they're sleeping, you need to be sleeping. If they're up, you need to be up. And same thing for when you're coming back, to try to break those time zones up so that you can enjoy your trip and you're not like sleeping all day and up all night or whatever the case may be. And that's how I recommend addressing certain time zones. Some people say you shouldn't break your time zone at all. You should just stick with your time zone so that when you land, you'll still be on the same clock. But what fun is that? I mean, come on. Go with where your destination is. That's my greatest recommendation. Okay. Because time zones can vary so much, I want to make sure that I tell you guys how important it is to have a post day. I think I talked about this before in a different video, where if you have a prep day where you know you have your one day, that's your day off from work or whatever it is, that is your day to get ready for your trip so that you're not rushing and hustling and bustling to get everything done. Same thing with a post day. Traveling is tiring, okay? By the time you finish moving through these airports and securities and this and that, or driving for hours and hours and hours, you just need a second. You just need a second to collect your thoughts, you know, reflect on the trip that you had, how amazing it was, catch up with your time zones if you switch time zones, and allow yourself that post day. That's going to be beneficial to your health. I know so many people who don't allow themselves that, and they're just ripping and running and ripping and running, and that in itself, being so tired, can make you sick. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is, you probably have heard about the Emirates plane that landed at JFK, and it was about 11 or so people that were sick, and they were all diagnosed with the flu, and the plane was quarantined by the CDC. That, my friends, is why I am making this video as well, to stay healthy. Also, it's getting to be colder seasons. People are coming down with the season changes and they're getting sick and all this other kind of stuff. I've also been reading about the flu shot, which I know is a little bit controversial for some people. Some people are like, I don't do flu shots. Some people are like, yes, shoot me up. But either way, make sure that you are protecting yourself from this year's flu season. That means eating those vegetables, those fruits, upping your vitamin take if you have to, whatever you can, if you want to do it that way, or if you want to get the flu shot, or if you want to do a combination of both. That would be me. Then do that, because when you catch the flu, it really can like screw up your plans. And if you catch the flu while you're traveling, that makes for a rotten trip. Trust me on this one. Okay? Okay. So get your flu shots or up your vitamin intake. Make sure you guys are staying healthy out there. Make sure that you're having a good time. Make sure you're making wise decisions. And last but not least, if you are sick, just don't go. Don't go. You're not gonna have fun if you are sick. Don't force it. It's okay. Reschedule it if you can. Take your time and take care of you. This brings me to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The red button, click it. Thank you. And also comment below some of your favorite tips to stay healthy during this travel season, fall season, winter season, all this good stuff. Until next time, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.